I would like to take this opportunity to call the regular Cumberland Fire Committee meeting to order this Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, our first meeting of 2020. And just want to remind people that the mission of the Cumberland Fire District is to provide exceptional public service, safety services, in a safe, compassionate, cost-effective, and professional manner. Would you please, let's start with a roll call. Commissioner Hayden? Present. Commissioner Hogan?
Here.
Commissioner Kutsiani is going to be late. That is prearranged. Commissioner Pacone?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
And Commissioner Santoro.
Present.
If we could please rise for a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, are there any general announcements? Just want to remind everyone that the week of February 2nd through February 8th is Burn Prevention Awareness Week. And for those of you out in the general public, keep in mind that scald burns are the leading cause of burns to children under 5. Please try and keep hot things away from kids. Keep a 3-foot zone away from the stove or the grill. Never carry a cup of coffee or a hot cup of tea with an infant because they squirm and could get burned. And just be aware of all the potential for burns for both older adults and children. Any other general announcements? All right, let's move on. Approval of the minutes from December 16th. It seems like such a long time ago. Is there a motion on the table?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hayden. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes from 12/16/19, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Madam Chair, I will abstain as I was not present for that meeting.
Okay. So we are dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Any other communications? Moving on to new business. Discussion and consideration and possible vote to approve the Chief's report, December 19th.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Santoro.
as opposed to the usual Chief's report, where he normally reads the full Chief's report, this is a lengthy report this month. It's been 6 weeks since last, as you said. If we may, this month, if we can have the board read through the Chief's report and just ask him any important questions we have of the Chief himself, instead of having him read through line by line. It might be a little more important, get more information.
Okay, there is a motion on the table to abbreviate the report. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hogan. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of asking the Chief to just give us highlights of his report from December, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. All right, Chief, would you consider giving us the highlights of your report?
Sure. Good evening. The Chief's report showed a increase in run volume for the previous month in November. 441 calls for service, and the incidents are broken down. Some right off the top, we had a pretty significant call. December 30th, there was a call at number 9 Maple Street. There was a fully involved van that had 3 exposures The van was parked in the driveway. The number 9 Maple Street was starting to catch fire, as well as the detached garage behind the van was on fire, and the vinyl siding was starting to catch and melt off of number 5 Maple Street. I wanted to just take this opportunity to commend the efforts of the first arriving companies and that first alarm with the additional assistance from out of town. It was a tremendous effort. They truly saved structures that night by the aggressive nature of their attack, and it was just really commendable. I have noted Cumberland Fire responded to assist Central Falls in a 4-alarm fire. Engine 1, myself, and the air supply. It was a well-involved fire just over the bridge, as well as as recently as last Monday night, we had a multi-vehicle accident, multi-agency with Woonsocket Police and Fire, and Cumberland Police and Fire, as well as Cumberland EMS, where there was 4 vehicles with 3 patients all going to Rhode Island, and the jaws of life were needed to extricate one of the patients. And again, it was a tremendous job. And, so the Assistance to Firefighter Grant Program, as we have a grant committee working, I was just found out as early as 6 o'clock tonight that will be opening next Monday for submissions. It will be a quick month to get our grant request in. They'll be automatically correcting them in March, and hopefully you make it through the process of the computer selection, and then it goes to further study. At that point, I just would like to mention I will be traveling with a delegation from the Rhode Island Fire Chiefs to speak to the Rhode Island senators and representatives down in Washington, D.C. at the end of April to personally deliver the needs of the Cumberland Fire District, and for some consideration, for some assistance here. On January 9th, at approximately 9:30, I received a call to respond to our Station 1 on High Street. There was a motor vehicle accident involving one of our vehicles. We had a 2007 Crown Victoria administrative vehicle parked, no one in it, no firefighters were injured. It was parked across from Blackstone Street. A vehicle crossed High Street from Blackstone at a high rate of speed, striking that vehicle and sending that vehicle almost into the building, as well as doing some damage to our flagpole, front railing, and front door. That patient was taken to Rhode Island Hospital for treatment, and we've been working with the insurance company, with VFIS, for the property damage, and with that vehicle operator's insurance for the liability claim that we have on our fire car. That is not settled at this point. We're still working with insurance, but that vehicle will be totaled due to heavy frame damage. The Central Falls reserve ladder that we've mentioned over the last few meetings, I was finally able to secure the vehicle, and I had it in service for 8 hours, when it cleared a medical call and then was responding to a car fire in 295 North, when that vehicle broke down out of service, causing major engine damage, and that vehicle will look like a loss as well. It's a 1991 E1 100-foot ladder that 4 communities share. We had an approximate repair cost of $53,000 to share amongst the 4 communities, and it's just I stated to the Greater Woonsocket Fire Chiefs that it's not worth Cumberland pursuing any part of that that sort of payment for the amount of time. I've had that, like I said, it was in service for 8 hours, and that was probably the first time in 2019 that I was able to, I'm sorry, over the last year that I was able to secure the vehicle. And truck 1, I was finally able to use the members to help strip anything that we might need for that vehicle. I removed it from Station 5. It went up to Station 2, where the ladder is located, where they removed all the ground ladders, any radios and lights that we might be able to use. In doing so, the frame got to the point where it's not even roadworthy. So for future consideration, I would like to, for the February meeting, perhaps amend our original resolution to put it on municipal bid and just send it for pure scrap value. And I believe it would take away the liability of that truck. It's approximately, right now, depending on the market, is $150 per ton. So we could potentially get more than actually putting it up for auction with a low bid at this point. I would also like to quickly thank Ralco Truck and Ted Vecchio. I called him. I had 2 engines out of service with engine lights on at approximately 5 o'clock at night, well after his hours. As soon as he heard that the codes were on, he grabbed his code reader for his diagnostic tools, and he went to Station 1 to diagnose what was wrong with our engine 1, and he was able to get it to his shop at 7:30 at night and start working on the truck because of the need for that vehicle. And it was just really remarkable, and I greatly appreciate his efforts. He also he made a run up to the North Cumberland station, or the Station 5, and he diagnosed one of our reserve trucks, which is still currently out of service, but it was just, I greatly appreciate his efforts and assisting me that night. We hired Christopher Spaziano to be sent to the Rhode Island Municipal Fire Academy starting at the end of February. Christopher is a EMT cardiac, and I served previously on the Pasco Fire District in Burrillville. He will replace the vacancy caused by firefighter O'Neill. This was the last candidate that we will use from the previous hiring list, and I currently have the okay from finance to proceed with a new hiring packet, as well as utilizing a program called Firefighter App, which would save on some costs from pulling an ad in the paper. This is an application process that's pretty pretty streamlined. It's done online, and it can reach a greater audience than a local paper, and I think it would be the right way to go. So we'll be able to get replacement for Captain Fogarty in the April Fire Academy. I was only able to secure one spot for February. So currently, Captain Fogarty's vacancy is being filled by the AFG, the SAFER grant personnel. So we do have a reduction in the overtime there, as well as the ladder staffing. Seeing some trends in how we start our day and researching with other departments, I've asked Firefighter K to develop a program that we can reach out to the members on how to start their shift with proper stretching exercises and proper yoga moves, which will warm the firefighters up to be able to even lift the equipment that they have to check first thing in the morning, as well as any patients or any physical labor that the job requires. It's a new initiative, and he was excited to help, and I hope to see involvement from all the members, and I think it would an investment of this kind of nature will be rewarding long term for keeping everybody healthy and safe. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for the chief? Commissioner Hayden?
Yeah, Chief, just want to say I've heard from a lot of people in the Valley area about the Maple Street fire. They were very impressed on how quickly you guys were able to put that out. The response was unbelievable. Everybody got together and was able to stop it from hitting the two houses. And the other thing is with the Crown Vic, I know the next day the chief called me. I met him up at the station. I think maybe we might have to look at something to maybe put a barricade or something up at the front of that station, because just looking at how far he pushed the car up towards the building, on the left-hand side of the flagpole is where the main gas goes in. And he, if the car wasn't there, I believe he would have hit the building and really did some damage to it. So whether it be a barricade or some bollards, we might want to look into that to kind of protect the front of that station, especially with one of the firefighters was in one of the front room studying. So, but glad nobody got hurt. Of course, the car got damaged. We can always replace that, but just maybe somewhere in the future we can kind of look into something like that. Thank you.
Anybody else? I just want to thank you very much for your report and being abbreviated, but I also want to take this opportunity to thank Ted Vecchio, who's here in the audience. On behalf of the Cumberland Fire Department, we really appreciate what you do to keep our fleet up and running, and you know, to make sure, knowing you were going on vacation, to make sure that we had working equipment. That really says a lot, and we really appreciate that. So on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you very much. Is there a motion on the table to accept the chief's report?
Motion to accept the chief's report.
Motion by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pacone. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting the chief's report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Okay, next on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible vote to approve the finance director's report. Steve?
Good evening, everyone. Everyone's had the packet to review it. If anyone has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. Overall, right now, we are about 50% of our budget, and that was at December 31st, so we're right on the halfway mark with everything,
Okay.
comparing to the budget. So that's
Till
a
we
good
buy a
thing.
car. Sorry.
So, but if anybody does have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Anyone have any questions for the finance director? I think we're all set then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion on the table to accept the finance report?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept by Commissioner Pacone. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Santoro. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting the finance report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Is there anyone in the public who would like to say anything? All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hogan. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning this record-breaking Cumberland Fire Committee meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.